So this is an example of a cost, revenue, or profit problem. And one of the things we need to do when we work these problems is determine what we're dealing with. If we're talking about revenue, that's money coming in and it's something we want to maximize. If we're talking about profit, that's also money that we're earning, so we want to maximize that as well. If we're talking about cost, we want to minimize it. And there are lots of hints in the problem that will tell you what you want to do. The first one we see in this problem is the word maximum and the word profit. So the minute we see those words, we know we're going to be looking for the vertex of a parabola. So let's read the problem through. The maximum profit a painter can make is determined by the quadratic equation y is equal to negative 4x squared plus 36x minus 20, where x is the number of paintings she makes and y is the dollar amount of profit in thousands. How many paintings should the painter make, and how much profit will she make from those paintings? Then at some point, after that point, how many paintings does a painter begin losing money? So the problem doesn't tell me to graph this equation, but I kind of like to get a picture of what's going on in my mind. And if I just loosely graph this, I know I'm going to have a quadratic that opens down because I have this negative in front of my leading term. And I know that there's going to be some point where on the x-axis, this is the number of paintings. And on the y-axis, there's going to be a dollar amount. And after that point, it's going to be her maximum revenue. And that's going to tell her how many paintings she could make to make that maximum revenue. And after that point, she's going to start losing money for every painting that she makes. So I'm interested in finding the vertex of this parabola. And since I have my calculator, I did it this way. First, I put into y1 the equation, negative 4x squared plus 36x minus 20. And then I hit graph. And I notice my picture kind of looks like what I've drawn here on the piece of paper. And I would like to find the vertex of this parabola, so I do second and the trace button, and you'll notice the blue letters above the trace button say calc. So I'm going to go to the calc menu that way, and I'm going to choose maximum, option 4, because that's what I'm trying to find, is the maximum value. Now notice my calculator says left bound. It's asking me the question, where is the left boundary of this thing that you're trying to find? So I'm going to use my arrow key, and I'm going to make sure my cursor is sitting to the left of my vertex, and I'm going to hit enter. And now my calculator is asking me for the right boundary. So I'm going to, again, use my arrow keys to move my cursor over clearly to the right side of the vertex and hit enter. And now it says take a guess. So I just put my cursor as close as I can to the vertex and hit enter. And it tells me that when my x value is 4.5, my y value is 61. So I know my vertex is at a point 4.5, comma, 61. So what does that mean? Well, that means that if the painter produces 4.5 paintings, she will make $61, and remember that dollars is in thousands, so she'll make $61,000. The problem with this is that it's difficult to make 0.5 of a painting. So my advice to the painter would be to make very close to that, which would be either 4 paintings or 5 paintings. And that should maximize her profit. So again, I'm going to use my calculator to find those values. And in this case, I'm going to find a value. Again, I use the second calc button, and I want to calculate this time a value, so I use option 1. And then notice it didn't do what I asked it to do, I don't think. There we go. Notice it's sitting and waiting for me to supply it with an x value. And if I give it an x value, it will tell me what the y value is. So I want to know what's y when x is 4. And it seems to be 60, so there's a point right here where if she makes 4 paintings, she'll make $60,000. So let's check 5 paintings. Again, second calc, option 1, and I put in 5. And again, it tells me that when she makes 5 paintings, her profit will be $60,000. So the painter should either make 4 or 5 paintings. If she makes more than that, look what happens to my graph. The parabola starts to descend, and any y value that we have beyond 5 paintings is certainly going to be less than the $60,000 she could make if she made 5 paintings. So to answer the questions, let's go back and read the problem again and make sure that we've considered all that we need to. How many paintings should the painter make, and how much profit will she make from those paintings? So the answer to that question is she should make either 4 or 5 paintings, and if she does, she'll make $60,000. And then it asks, after how many paintings does the painter begin to lose money? And the answer is, after that 5th painting, her profit is going to start to go down.